Hey YouTube, this is the Dutch Sandwich. I wanted to do a quick review and kind of overview of some new and older RCA cables that I've had in my system and upgrading to some new ones. So what you can see here in the foreground is a pair of Monoprice premium, use premium in air quotes, premium RCA cables. You can get these on their website for $3. This is a 3-foot length, and I think they'll add on a couple more dollars. So all in, you're maybe spending around $7 or so. It's got a 22 gauge conductor in the middle, and the picofarad rating, which I'll get into more later, is 22 picofarads per foot. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but if I'm not, please correct me. And so what I decided to do was upgrade to something, a cable that I've read a lot of good things about, which is the Blue Jeans cable there, LC-1. And from all the different cable companies that publish their actual picofarad ratings, they're the lowest one that I've found. It's a 12.2 picofarad per foot rating. It's a mouthful, and I got it in two different versions. This is their standard version, as you can see here, a really thick cable. Compared to the Monoprice cable, I'd say it's about, I don't know, I'd say it's about 25–30% thicker. It's kind of hard to tell. You can see the difference in the size of the connectors here. This is the standard Monoprice connector, and this is made by Canary. They're both gold plated. These are split on the Monoprice versus solid on the Blue Jeans cable. But what the Blue Jeans cable's done is they've been able to shrink the conductor on the inside so it's even thinner than the Monoprice one. It's 25 gauge. And so what that does is, I guess that brought down the capacitance, which they claim is kind of one of the main characteristics of a good unbalanced RCA cable, which these are unbalanced. And so I couldn't help it but want to give it a shot for my system. And I ended up getting a pair that were separate right here to go between a preamp and a power amp, which is, you know, kind of a nice option because the posts on the amp are pretty far apart. And so if it was in this TechFlex sheet, you'd end up having to cut it and it'd be kind of messy. But I got these to run between my phono preamp and my record player. And I thought it'd just be nice for cable management sake to have this TechFlex sleeve around the outside. The 3-foot pair just on its own plain is $31.25 plus probably a couple dollars for shipping. And with the TechFlex, they add on another $3. So I think it's probably $1 per foot for the TechFlex. So yeah, if cable management or just kind of having that clean look and your inputs and your outputs are close together, definitely I would say the TechFlex is a great option to go with. It's pretty darn cool looking. But yeah, if your inputs and outputs are far apart, or you kind of like the minimalistic look without the TechFlex, this one's pretty neat. For how thick these are, they're super maneuverable or bendy, whatever the word you want to say. They look like they wouldn't be, but they are. That was one thing I was concerned about. The Monoprice cables are extremely flexible, and the connectors aren't very long. These, obviously, you have almost twice, 40% longer, so you have to kind of account for that. If your system's kind of jammed up against a wall, you may have to pull it out a little bit, but it does have good flexibility so that when it is plugged in, you can make a fairly tight turn and still be okay. They've got a great high shielding to them. They use a special technology that's like an ultrasonic weld between their cables and the connectors. If you have never heard of it or aren't familiar with it, I'd go to their website. I think they have a demonstration where they actually have the wire going into the machine and doing this ultrasonic weld. So it doesn't use heat, it just uses this high frequency and makes this extremely strong bond between the connectors and the cable, which is pretty neat. Got some other cables from Blue Jeans cable that I figured I'd show in this video, just so you can see. They have this cable they call their LC-1, and they use it for a couple different applications. their subwoofer cable, as they say on their website, is basically just an LC-1 with a different different color connector. So I ended up ordering the subwoofer cable, but this is going to be my the bridge, you could say, between my preamp and my input on my amplifier for my center channel. So this is going to be for my surround left and right, and this is going to be for my center channel. I just thought it'd be nice to have a different color, just to signify that this was actually for my center, and that the red and white would be for the left and the right, just to keep things separate. But it's the exact same cable. Subwoofer takes the same signal, so that's a really nice cable. And then I also got 2 of their coaxial cables. I got 2 7-foot lengths to go between my DirecTV box and my Macintosh preamplifier. Great looking cable, same canary style connectors, gold plated, great shielding. I got a little bit of noise coming through my system, and I think it's probably, I'm using kind of a bargain barrel cable that I just kind of had lying around until I could get these in, and so I'm hoping that that'll help clean it up. I'm assuming it probably will. So anyways, if you've never kind of explored any of these cables before, give them a shot. I mean, it's $30. If you've never read Steve Guttenberg's blog, he's got a blog called The Audiophiliac. He gives great advice. Cables can get really out of control. You can end up spending thousands of dollars on cables. And he gave a great tip, which is one that I'll leave with you, is that only spend as much on cables as you're willing to spend on a bottle of wine, and everything else, should fall into place. So if you're really picky about things and you're particular, or maybe you can't even hear the difference, but when you walk by or you pull your system out and you want to see a really, really nice cable, go ahead and spend, the thousands of dollars. But the law of diminishing returns, after you get past probably the $30, $40 range in these, it's going to be probably pretty tough to tell any real discernible difference in terms of the cables being the bottleneck of your system. So if you have any questions about these cables, do my best to answer them. Leave comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like it if you did, and please subscribe. Thanks.